Signatures on, Larry.
You're on?
Right. Mass does you no good below your nose.
Get the meeting started. Welcome, everyone. Start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, as always. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, guys.
Are you good with, you want to pop them off for this?
Yeah, we're just, it's hard to read and communicate with these things.
We're about 10 feet apart, you and I are. You and Michael are 3 feet 7 inches. If you guys want to do yours too,
Hard to
that's,
communicate. Hot in here too, seems like. All right. We've got several things on the agenda today. Start out, Michael, we have a consideration to petition to vacate an alley.
Correct.
And we'll start that right now, if you want to.
I turn it over to Mr. Wickens.
Yeah.
Okay, the application that was submitted is to vacate an alley that was in the town of Negocian. And if you look on the plat, the first page, large format paper that I gave you, there was a note there. And that note says that there was evidence, visible evidence of an alley shown on the Hamilton subdivision plat of Negocian. The second page that I presented before you, there is a note on that page where they tried to vacate that alley virtue of the plat of the subdivision, plating of the subdivision. And when that was submitted and recorded, I was going through and digitizing the subdivision. I brought that to Mike's attention that they did not go through the proper procedures to vacate the alley right-of-way. So they are before you after the subdivision has been approved and recorded, vacating the alley, which would then lead to the site plan that was also presented to you for the new Dollar General, which that's what they're going to be developing at that location. We received confirmation of the adjacent property notice that was sent out. And what's really interesting is that that adjacent property, which would be the south or the northwest corner there on Turkey's Ferry, that lot has a portion of this public alleyway on it also.
Very, very small part, though,
Yeah.
right? Just the edge of it.
Just the edge of it, which will still be existing.
so all we're doing, Ryan, is just cleaning this up.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, the property's already been sold.
right. This is similar to the thing that we're dealing with in Steelyville too, just another cleanup of a discovery of there's an alley.
Yeah, most of them were platted but never developed.
Yep.
And, we'll probably see a lot more of those coming in as people realize
Sure.
they own part of an alley and they can have that piece of property. Any other questions?
No, I'm good with moving forward, so I'll make a motion to approve the alley vacation.
I'll second the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is that all you have today, Ryan?
Yeah, the question that I have, the ordinance we approved in Blackhawk 2 weeks ago, is there a procedure that I have to go through to get the check? Is that just something that we, with the holiday and the election, kind of slipped up on? To record the ordinance? How does that work?
Thought the petitioner paid to have it recorded.
They paid the filing fee. Is that part of the filing fee?
It has historically not been part of the filing fee. I mean, the recorder can record things related to right-of-way without a charge if it has certain statutory language tied to it. But, yeah, I would think if the petitioner wants that recorded, they would pay for it, or the policy could be amended to provide that the county pays for it, but that has not been historically.
The other two ordinances that were approved this year, the county commissioners wrote a check
then that's probably just something I'm not aware of
Okay.
that Tammy has handled.
Yeah, I'm new to this, I don't know how it all.
Yeah, I did not think,
How much
maybe
is
that's
it?
just part of the filing fee.
Like $15 or something?
25.
25.
25?
I thought that was the
That could've-
petitioner, the petitioner was supposed to pay in that.
Okay.
I
That
didn't think
makes
the county
sense.
recorded.
I mean, if they're
Yeah.
petitioning for that property, that's the way I always understood it was. But
Right.
who was putting a claim in for the commission? You know?
No one, like I said, the two that we approved and passed earlier this year were paid with a check from the commissioner's office. I didn't know if that was part of the filing fee that was paid to the auditor's office.
Is it in there?
You recognize that, Mr. Bramble?
No, I always thought, like Michael said, that I don't know who processed, a check on those
Well,
claims.
it was done by plat mapping, you know, before, so,
I'll check on it.
Okay,
okay.
thank you.
Thank you,
I
Ryan.
think that, personally, I think the petitioner wants the property, they ought to pay for the report.
That's why I thought the filing fee and the recording fee was there, you know, I don't know why we record our own document, you know?
I tend to agree.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
Yeah. Okay. All right, what else you have, Michael?
The next item on the agenda originates from the engineer's office. As you can see, Larry's here with us. I just turned it over to him to kind of talk about these two issues.
Sure, thanks, Michael.
Larry, before you go forward, we got a text message from one of our YouTube fans. The camera is not pointing to where you guys are seated. So Ryan, sorry, buddy, you didn't get any airtime. Can you go to the podium?
Sure.
Okay, because that's where the camera's,
Take your microphone.
the camera's locked on there. Thank you. They don't want to miss seeing you on camera.
I wouldn't want to disappoint.
You have fans. You've got people.
All right, the first item that I have is the letter of understanding from NDOT. They are going to do some work on a bridge replacement out on State Road 159. They're going to replace that with a small structure. In doing so, they're going to close that. NDOT will assign their detours to state routes, which would be 246 and 46, which is a pretty long commute to get around that. They recognize that very few local people, if any, are going to use that detour. So they have what they call a ULD, which is an unofficial local detour document that establishes that local detour. And then if there are any damages to that, then we meet after the fact, and then we address those as we go forward. So,
Interesting.
Those are Autumn Singhurst.
Right.
Okay.
yeah, so they've established that. That's probably the shortest route, Cottam to Singhurst to Oregon Church. Which Singhurst is, I believe, shipped and seals, so some of those trash trucks and stuff, we might have some damage to those roads, but.
Oh, that's right.
Anybody on those roads will see an increase in traffic once they start this project. Should be mostly local, but with the landfill being down there, it could be a potential problem, but this is a step in their process to, after that project is over, then we will evaluate that and see what damages there are, and we'll go from there.
How long you think that'll take?
I'm not for sure about the length. Probably shouldn't take, probably about 4 or 5 months at the most, I would hope, but I can verify that with NDOT.
I hate to see them destroy Singhurst, we chip sealed that, it's
Right.
filled up pretty well. And we were just talking about that yesterday.
That's
at
right.
the Meeting, but
They destroy it, we can have them resurface it, so,
All those are hard surface roads.
yeah.
And then,
yeah.
have you done an assessment of them beforehand?
I have not, but I will. I'll
Okay.
drive them with a camera and record those so that we have a before picture. NDOT typically does too, but I'd like to have one for our files.
And also, I met with Marty, they did construction, not them, but Duke Energy did construction on Cottam and busted off about a 3-foot section of our corner edge of the road with the down riggers, and told them that we wanted that repaired in place, because we just spent
We're out on Cottam.
$375,000 a few years ago to pave all of Cottam Drive. right off of 159 Hillbilly Corner. I think Marty is on top of it, but like I said, I wanted to make sure, because, I mean, it tore it up pretty good.
That's the area,
They
Larry.
were replacing poles.
I photographed it because there's standing water there. Do you recall that? About 2 months ago. So it's that exact same section. I was trying to figure out why water was coming up, because there's an area that it hadn't rained, but there was water and the road was chewed up there.
I'll verify with Marty, make sure he's reached out to them, make sure they're on it, and
You
see
can
if there's
just
anything else
see
we
where
need to do.
the riggers came down, because they're like a triangle.
Yep.
It just pushed down all the way down through the thing.
Yeah, I
They
think
were
Duke-
replacing poles.
Yeah, they
big
replaced poles all the way down Cottom, so.
And they didn't even tell us they were gonna shut it down, because that's
Right.
when Republic called, complaining that
Yeah, I sent Marty out there to open it up, so they restricted it to one lane and flagged around their work zone.
Okay.
So the gravel roads out there, do you think people will be utilizing those? Will locals be hitting those to avoid this?
Potentially, it just, it matters on where they're going and how familiar they are with the area, but yeah, I mean, there's potential they could jump over and hit a couple other roads, but this is probably the most likely, because it's kind of the shortest route, so.
When are they going to start, Larry?
June 26th, I think.
Yeah,
I think it'd be good. I know we've already got oil being hit out there based off of our meeting on Monday, but I would probably say it'd probably be a good idea. See, Brad, what you think, to have those gravel roads hit.
Yeah, and do them right now.
Right.
So we don't get the complaints on oil.
yep.
Because
can
we
do
enjoy
those.
those phone calls, don't we?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Sure do.
those are
I
neat.
like clean cars.
Uh-huh. And then they complain after we put the oil down. So advanced notification, putting oil down, we know the routine.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. 159's a mess, so.
They've been patching, they've patched all that. It
I
rides
think
pretty
this is
well.
part
They
of that.
must be gonna pave it.
I'm hoping this is kind of precursors to a bigger project out there, hopefully a little bit of a
Sure.
widening project, things
I
like
was
that.
surprised, I rode out there Saturday,
On your motorcycle. Yeah.
and it was pretty smooth. They had reinforced all those edges, cut them all out,
Good.
still don't have improved shoulders. A lot better than it was. But the crash trucks, of course, we know, destroyed those, so. Okay.
So there would just need to be a motion to approve the letter of understanding. And, yeah, Larry has one other issue for
I'll go
sign
ahead.
placement.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve that letter of understanding with NDOT for the detoured routes.
Second the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. The other item I have stems from the Spring Hill project. It is a sign at Hidden Court South. It needs to be relocated with the project. It appears to be partially in the right-of-way now, but they're requesting that we allow it to be placed in the right-of-way rather than on the neighbor's property there, just to identify the subdivision. We typically don't like to have signs in the right-of-way that aren't, county signs, but this one, given the name of the subdivision, it's more of a wayfinding signage. I can see that we could probably allow that. The proposed location is on the right-of-way of Lost Street, on the south side of Spring Hill. It's as far back, on the right-of-way as it can be. You should have a picture there kind of depicting the area where it will be. It'll be outside of the sight distance prism so that people can still see to pull out and everything else. But there is a picture of the sign included there that is to be relocated.
If I recall correctly, Larry, that, I don't have the picture in front of me, that is a brick sign?
Nope.
No brick?
No,
Nope,
it's
it's a
wood
wooden
sign.
sign.
It's wood,
Yeah,
okay.
it is.
So if somebody hits it, it's not going to be,
Yeah.
right, thank you.
Right.
Hit the wood sign.
Thanks.
Yeah, and it's
Who
just
requested
identifying.
that? Did this engineering company request that, or the?
They requested it on behalf of, I guess the subdivision. I don't know if there's a particular owner, if the developer just owns a sign. It's just a sign that identifies the subdivision there, and it needs to be relocated because it's partially in the right-of-way now. And once we widen Spring Hill, it will be in more conflict. So it needs to be relocated. So they proposed a location that's on the right-of-way of Lost Street, which is south. It should be outside of the limits where we need, where we need the widening for Spring Hill, so it'll still be visible from Spring Hill, so people can identify that subdivision and where it's located. But it shouldn't be in any conflict, but it requires your approval to place something in the right of way, so.
Has to be a variance of some type, or?
It's just a request to place it in the right of way, yeah.
Yeah, it's just an acknowledgement that you're allowing something into the right of way. That the right of way is meant to say, if we need this ground in the future, it's already ours. I mean, that there's a right of way there already.
But we're purchasing that right away, right? Or?
We're purchasing more, yes,
Yeah.
off of the property owner on the corner. Like the sign is, it appears to be partially or mostly in the right of way now of Spring Hill, so
Sure.
whether it was approved to be there or not, it's there. This is just a formality, in my opinion. If they're gonna place that in the right of way, the commissioners need to approve that.
But who pays to move the sign?
It would be part of the project.
It'll be part of the project. We pay to relocate it.
I mean,
It's gonna
it
still
would
be in the
just-
right of way, it's there in the right of way now, we're buying more right of
Right.
way, we're just
Yeah.
moving the sign.
Right, and typically, we wouldn't allow this for commercial development or anything like this. We'd make
Right.
them buy their own, easement or whatever they needed for their own, because but it's a subdivision identifies,
For years.
yeah, it's similar to a street sign, so.
And then they understand that if it needs to be moved, then
Yep.
this doesn't say that, hey, it can be there until perpetuity. It's
Right,
there
at
till-
this point, as part of the project, if we are, since we are paying to relocate it and we're allowing it to go in the right of way again, we are paying for that, but in the future, if we need it for something, some improvements, we widen that corner out or something, then they'll have to move it on their dime.
Larry, is it safe to say from an engineering standpoint that if we move the hidden court sign back further, it'll be more hidden? Thank you very much. I've been really wanting to get that out all day. No? All right. I'll make a motion to
Big tree in front.
to have no more bad jokes the rest of the meeting. All in favor? Yeah. I'll make a motion that we allow the sign to remain until it can no longer remain
In the right of way.
in the right of way.
Okay. I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Do you want to discuss Rose Hill while I'm here?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a request, it's been a pending request for a while, kind of kicking it around. We did some evaluation of the roads out in the area, but we had a request to decrease the speed limit on Rose Hill from Rosedale to Stevenson to 30 miles an hour,
From 40?
from 40. All the roads around there appear to be 30-mile-an-hour zones, with the exception of Rosedale Road itself, which is understandable. So it'd be my recommendation that we decrease that speed limit from 40 to 30 in that section. I'll also look at the other roads. I think Stevenson was also on the request. It might have been 35, but really, if those are all 30, it makes sense to keep them all 30. It's a little bit of hilly terrain. I've had a problem with speeders in the past, but
You got Green Acres out there too.
right.
We, on Monday, just for those, normally we'd have people here, but on Monday, we all met to discuss speed limits, and this one in particular, and we reviewed the book that has the speed limits that you think Brad was established in the 60s, I think.
A lot of those are.
So we've noticed how things have changed. We're going to work on making those current, I guess,
Correct.
and safer for the county.
Yep.
So, big project.
So if you guys are in agreement with that, I believe, Michael, it has to be advertised
Yeah,
for 30
right.
days.
For the, the public has to have notice of the change.
Right.
So it would just be a motion to advertise the change. We'd run it through the Tribune Star, and then it could take effect 30 days after it's been published.
But just for clarification on that too, we didn't find anything in the ordinance book that actually shows that.
Nope.
So, so how about I do this? I'll make a motion to amend the ordinance to set a speed limit of 30 mile an hour along Rosedale Road
Rose Hill.
between Rose Hill and
No, we're doing Rose Hill between Rosedale and Stevenson.
Rose Hill, we're wanting to change.
Rose Hill's the one we're wanting to change.
Okay.
Not Rosedale Road.
Well, Rosedale Road is the road that Green Acres is on, right?
Correct.
Isn't that the 40-mile-an-hour section?
Rose Hill is 40 as well.
Okay.
But he mentioned that in that letter.
Yeah, that's, I've got his letter
You
here.
got it? Okay.
Yeah. I can't read it all. Unfortunately, I can't. It would not be, it'd be entertaining, but I can't. Let me see.
I mean, this could be the first step. I mean, Rose Hill itself, it's a rural road that comes off of Rosedale. We can look at the rest of those, and like you mentioned, if we can clean this up, we can put all these speed limits. We're working on a new GIS layer for all the roads to include the speed limits. I'd like to look at them not only here, but countywide, so.
Okay, so, yeah, I may be confused here, but I think we need to go for a drive today or tomorrow. So let's do it this way. Request that the speed limit be set at 30 mile an hour on Rose Hill Avenue from Rosedale Road to Roberts Road.
Correct, yes.
Okay, to
Yeah,
30
it'd
mile
include,
an
yeah,
hour.
that'd go past Stevenson, yep.
In there is requested Stevenson from Rio Grande to Devonald too. Do you want to do that one in this?
Yes,
Okay, and Stevenson from Rio Grande to Devonald to be reduced to 30 mile an hour.
correct.
Do you have enough information to make that work? Okay. I'll make a motion to ensure that the ordinance for the section of Rose Hill Avenue from Rosedale Road to Roberts Road is set to 30 mile an hour. And Stevenson from Rio Grande to Devonald be set to 30 mile an hour. You look confused. Did that not work?
No, I'm trying to visualize those roads right there.
Yeah.
Got the map, it's kind of hard to visualize it.
Basically, the roads make no sense. 30 here, 40 here. 40s
Yeah,
are
it's-
usually in the
it's all
whoop-de-doo
over-
sections.
It's all over the place, and this
Right.
would kind of establish some uniformity out there.
And we're not sure that the signs are necessarily accurate to what was passed in the 60s. So,
They may have been changed even since then.
right.
No, that's fine. I mean,
Okay with that, we're looking,
I think it,
is that your motion?
I think so.
I think it is.
Yeah.
So, I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, we'll work on that.
Okay, all right.
I think the message here, kids, though, is we're going to work on a big project to make sure that all these roads are safe.
Yeah, like you said, since they haven't been updated from the 60s, we probably need to take a look at, the county as a whole. It'll take some time. but-
Traffic patterns have changed.
Yeah, traffic patterns have changed, speeds have changed,
Well, it's a-
vehicles have
And
changed.
we've had complaints.
It's amazing how much this COVID exercise has changed the behavior on the roads because,
Correct.
as we talked in our meeting Monday, a lot of these county roads have become walkways.
Yeah, you get a lot
People are
more
out, they're
pedestrian
exercising,
traffic
they're
than
riding
we've
their
had in the
bikes. We've
past.
done a great job putting those signs up about the bicycle awareness, and that's also for pedestrians too, give people a buffer zone. But yeah, things are changing a lot here. People are driving golf carts out there whether we like it or not. The OHV thing that we implemented makes a big difference, so. And I've been getting some pretty good feedback all in all that most of those guys, the operators of the OHVs, have been abiding by the speed limit. So they seem to actually be going a little slower for Sunday cruises, Saturday cruises. So I think that's working out well. I just had a little unprompted discussion there, so I'll stop and,
Okay,
very good.
Michael?
Thanks, Larry.
thank you, Larry. Then the next item is related to the Vigo County Juvenile Justice Center. Mr. Loudermilk is here as the executive director of the Justice Center. And if you'll recall, a few weeks ago, we, in a Tuesday morning meeting, approved a resolution related to the establishment of a non-reverting fund. After further discussions with Mr. Loudermilk and Mr. Bramble and State Board of Accounts, it was determined that that would be better couched by way of an ordinance.
So what you have before you is an ordinance establishing a Vigo County Juvenile Justice Center non-reverting fund, which would provide for the maintenance, repair, purchasing of supplies and/or equipment necessary for the safety and security and general operation of the Justice Center, and additionally provide for the continuing education and training of staff members in accordance with the guidelines set forth by the Indiana Department of Corrections and other agencies with oversight of the Justice Center. This non-reverting fund would be capitalized with revenue generated from the out-of-county detainees that the Vigo County Juvenile Justice Center holds from other jurisdictions within the state of Indiana. And, yeah, if there are any questions about the ordinance, I'd be happy to try and answer them. Obviously, Mr. Loudermilk is here to speak to the issue as well.
Question that I have just for you, Norm, do you have your budget done yet?
Say that one more time. Do I have my budget done?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'd like to see that, and the reason, the commissioner is supposed to look at all, budgets, but we want to see on the maintenance side, what you put in there for maintenance, repairs.
So, just verbally real quick, it was completed yesterday. That and a letter I've prepared for the county council. There's no increase in anything but for maintenance
Yeah.
of the building,
Right.
which I think was 7,000. We moved to
7,500, I think.
we moved it to 12,000 just because it's an older building and we always will need to repair. Additionally, in the capital outlays, we put in, I think 150,000. And that is because of an upgrade of the security system that is needed, long overdue. That security system will include the closed-circuit TV upgrades, access either by card or by the push-button access. Nothing different than the jail has or that the new jail is going to have. I've received a couple budgetary estimates, and I'm waiting on one more budgetary estimate from the new jail contractor. So the one that works on our stuff now, they gave me a quote, estimate, if you will, the one that has your facility and the courthouse and the jail now gave me a budgetary estimate. And then the new vendor that is one of your subcontractors for your jail, we've contacted them and asking them to provide us another one. So we'll have 3 to go by to see if we need to bid this out or if this is under the bid. How much does the security system cost? Well, I don't know. So is it over the bid amount? Is it under? So we're getting a kind of a budgetary estimate to see if I need to come to you guys to say, and there are options for, here's a total, pay this much over 3 years. So it's a lot more palatable. But to go back, so yes, I'll forward you my budget. Today you'll have it in your email that will.
Well, we're going through the budgets, and we spent a lot of money over there.
Yep.
That wasn't in your budget because there wasn't much included in your budget for
Right.
repairs. When
Right.
an air conditioner goes or
Yep.
something like that, it eats most of that up. So.
But, as I look at it in all honesty, except for a small amount that I think I should keep just for daily repairs, I think it should be in your budget. I think that you should be, number one, because you know about it. I mean, I think you should be made apprised of the things that we need to do over there and why we need to do them. But with respect to this ordinance, we started collecting fees in 2016, I think. Collected about 23,800 in 17, 44,000 in 18, 30,000 in 19, 42,000, and this year, as of April, about 23,000. And so We decided to raise our fees from 110 per day to 125. That's still either equal to or lower than every other facility in the state. We decided to charge for mileage, but also include if we wanted to take someone to court, instead of making the other counties do it, we would be willing to do those types of things, but we're going to have to charge a mileage. And we're going to also charge for drug testing. Some probation officers, when a juvenile is admitted to the facility, require a drug test immediately, and so we'll do that swab for them or take them to a facility and have them tested. Others give us court orders, but it's just something we've never billed for, and so the county's eating that money. We want to make sure we recoup that money. And then all that money would go back into this fund, and then with obviously the council's approval, the county council's approval, then we would be able to appropriate that money to be able to spend for the security system or whatever that we might need. We just had a really bad situation occur Friday that, we'll address later, but that this security system, could have helped prevent. So,
Well, as time as you all saw that, so
Yeah.
many things.
yeah. And I don't think that it's because of any neglect on anyone's part. It's just, when you own a house and 20 years later, there are going to be things that need to be upgraded or fixed. And so we've owned that house since 2001. And it's not that no one's put any money into it, but it's just that, things are starting to get tired. And if we don't and just kick the can down the road, we're going to end up like the jail, where we're going to say, holy cow, look what a mess we've got now. So instead of doing that, I thought we should, be proactive about it.
Okay, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good with it. Make a motion to approve ordinance 2020 dash
I wouldn't,
something.
I think it's 01. I'm not sure if
Okay.
we've done any other ordinance, but I didn't want to.
Okay. Ordinance.
Is that good enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we'll get with you on that, because we kind of figure our budget too, where we're at,
No,
how much we're gonna do. And of course, this last year, the malware, and of course, this.
And like that security thing, if you don't want that in my budget, and you'd rather put it in yours, then that's fine too. I'll cut that out of mine and we'll,
Talk about that, but maybe something from the council.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Norm.
Yep.
Excuse me. The only other item that I had for your consideration was one of the issues that the courts are dealing with in talking, excuse me, talking about how they're going to conduct trials after court operations get back to a more normal environment. One of the biggest things that they do that brings people together is the questioning of the jury. When for a high-level felony trial, judges would typically bring in 75 to 80 potential jurors to allow both the prosecutor and the defense counsel to question, and the same can be true for civil trials, just on a smaller scale, because civil trials only have 6 jurors. You don't need as many potential jurors to come in. But none of the courtrooms are set up to bring that many people in and be socially distant. So one of the things that the judges have been working on is securing some alternative facilities that would be more compatible with providing social distancing and at the same time allowing the attorneys to and the judges to question the jurors for any potential biases or other issues that would make them not a good juror for the case. So Judge Roach emailed the Vigo County School Corporation application for use of school facilities form.
He's also met with First Financial Bank on the use of their conference center down on South 7th Street. And I just wanted to, you know, the facilities form is here for your review. It's something that, you know, we've done before when you had the outings at Terre Haute South and Terre Haute North related to the jail, things like that. But in those instances, we had put that on the record, and I just wanted to bring that before you today. Although there's not specifically any plans to use the facility, it would require a signature when that time comes, and so I
Would
just
that be
wanted.
a video type
No,
thing, or
it would
they
be-
go down there to interview
yeah.
them?
So it would be, you know, just a larger room with more space to give people to spread apart, because typically the questioning is only occurring related to one person at a time. So most of the other people are not participating while that particular person's being questioned, and they just don't, you know, normally it's done in a jury box with everybody sitting arm to arm. And it, you know, you bring 12 people up into the jury box, they sit next to each other and you talk to them. But this is just trying to be socially distant in those courtrooms is not practical. They have talked to the sheriff about this idea, and, you know, the sheriff is okay with the prospect of having juror questionnaire occur off-site. He was uneasy about the possibility of trials occurring off-site. But he does have a desire to provide for security at those facilities when those events should occur, and, you know, those would probably be overtime situations for a lot of his deputies or reserve staff. So everybody just wants to be upfront about what reopening is going to look like for them.
Michael, a couple things. The courts initially were talking about July 1st as their date to have trials.
Mm-hmm.
Did I read that that has been extended by the state Supreme Court to August?
I have not seen that, Brendan. But
Okay,
it's entirely possible that I have not
I'm
seen
going through
something.
emails here, and as we know, things have changed so much. When we
Right.
were, our target was July, or June, I keep doing that, 15th, for our buildings, and we were at that today.
Right.
Until something changes, but the governor extended it last week, meetings like this, till July 4th.
Right.
Looking at an email, when they were looking at holding the trials at one of the schools, under the auspices that things were going back July 1st, schools start back up August 15th. So there's a chance that we may not even have anything there anyway.
It's entirely possible.
Right.
Yeah.
But the remote location, I know the judges have been working with Tommy and maintenance to try to figure out how, you know, flows can work, dividers are put up,
Right.
things like that. And again, things change daily, so I think it's good to go ahead and acknowledge this,
Yeah.
just as we would any other time we use a school corporation facility.
Right.
And I guess publicly recognize that we may move this off-site for everybody's protection. Yeah, I just looking back, the last email I have from the judges was May 28th, other than the one that we're talking about right now.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so there's no motion or anything that needs to be approved. As I said, I just wanted to make you aware of this issue so that if the time comes when they are looking at something, it's not, you know, any new news to you.
okay. So what do you want us to do?
Nothing?
Nothing?
Yeah.
Be aware.
Just an awareness
Yeah,
discussion?
Just an awareness.
Yeah, it looks like the petition for emergency relief to the Supreme Court was on May 28th, which you have a copy of that.
Yeah.
You should too, Brett. It's really pretty amazing what the judges put together. They really put a lot of time and thought into this. They know their operations well.
No, it was a lot of hours, I'm sure. And,
June 8th was their date to, June 8th is their date to change the pattern in the courthouse as far as ingress, egress. And in here it says jury trials shall not resume before July 1st, 2020.
but I think it's,
I think it's been extended.
yeah. And I think it's unlikely that anybody's, we're June 9th. I don't think anybody's going to be ready for trial on July 1st. I think they're just trying to, cover their bases in the event that, because, yeah, they need to try and move those cases as much as they can.
No other discussion? Bramble?
Got, May 19th minutes to be approved.
Good whenever you are on. Are you good on?
Yep.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 19th meeting.
Second the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
And then we have the claim docket for May 16th through 22nd in the amount of $9,606,719.20. And I have the May 23rd to 29th claim docket in the amount of $553,673.93 plus payroll of $968,668.86 for a total of $1,522,342.79. Then we have the granddaddy of them all, May 3rd to June 5th in the amount of $49,959,880.51.
These are all disbursements paid out.
The last one is large because
Yeah.
it includes tax distributions.
If somebody wants to find those tax distributions online, is that on Gateway right now? Or do we have to approve it first and then it's on there?
It's all been sent out. It's a large, several, I don't know, probably half a dozen very complicated spreadsheets, but it's
Okay,
up
I get
there.
people that ask about how they can see that, so
Yeah. It's there if you can understand it.
they can just contact your office. Okay,
To see like how much each
How much
respective
each?
jurisdiction got, yeah.
Sure.
It'd probably be best through the auditor's office
all right.
instead of trying to decipher those tables.
Gateway.
Even the claims.
But, I mean, when does that go on Gateway though, Jim?
Well, it's all loaded to DLGF for their approval,
Okay,
so,
so once it's approved, then they have their own timeline to get it on
yeah.
there.
Yeah, I think that's how you communicate with
Yeah.
the gate, right? And so I think it's probably, once they approve it, it probably goes up to their live site for the public.
They're,
Sure, back.
settlements and tax-related items, the DLGF site, go to that, and then they've got boxes to click to take you to various gateway reports.
It's a great asset, that's for sure.
It is.
Saves us a lot of time. Well, there's a lot in there, so I will make a motion to approve the claims as submitted and shared by our auditor. Jim
Motion's
Bramble.
made. I'll second the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those are approved. Any other comments?
Is there anything you just want to talk about? No? Me neither.
We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Here's all that.